There you go.
I was gonna say, why does it say they're waiting?
There, we've officially gone live. Cool.
Nice. I can see it.
Nice.
Oh, now I see what you meant with the podcast logo in the middle.
Yeah, I think it works like
So you
that.
can't like, yeah, it does work.
Okay, we've got no viewers so far. But we will hold down the fort until Aslam and MK come. Ooh, I should sit
Cool.
closer to my mic. Let me
Do you buy the mic specifically for the podcast?
Yeah, I don't really use it for anything else.
Fair enough.
What was I gonna do? I need to get what's it? There you go. Notification just came through. Share, copy link. Take a picture. Lovely shit. My was lovely shit. Okay. There was one viewer, but that was me.
Probably for the best I don't have any viewers because I'm not really talking about much anyway.
Yeah, that's true. I always think about stuff to say. If someone does show up, oh, we got 2 viewers. I don't know if one is someone.
Or is that
It
me and
might
you?
be. How do we add a link? There you go. Attach.
Oh, hello.
Where's MK?
Ah, there you are.
Where's MK?
No idea.
Bloody. Oh yeah, what's right? He
His
said
camera.
he's got issues with his new camera. Okay, this guy's retard. All you have to do is connect it through USB, and he's still having troubles. Actually, this guy's a retard. Hold on, Mr. Reliable right here. On time, by the way.
Hello everyone who is on the podcast today. We've got 2 viewers.
Live. Sorry, people. Oh. Hashtag. I should change my name to hashtag MK is a fraud. Absolute muck. Oh, Cyberpunk 2077 is now available.
Cool.
The PS5
Because the
version.
PS4 version was so good.
Yeah, you know, I actually paid for that.
I
don't know
paid
why.
for it, completed it, and then got the refund that they gave you for if you didn't like it. So
Finished it. How could you finish it? The game was broken.
no, it worked for me. It just kept crashing like every 2 hours, but but I managed to get through it.
I saw some of the reviews for Horizon. On the whole, they're very good, yeah. But I think the main thing that I saw from some of them is that the story, the ending makes it seem it has like a white savior moment, and obviously with Horizon,
What does that mean?
You know, with Horizon, a white savior. So okay, you know in Game of Thrones, right? When Daenerys first goes to Marine and she's like, "I'm gonna save all the slave people," and then she gets picked up and there's a crowd of like colored people and she's the only white person there. and they're holding her. That's kind of what a white savior moment is. It's like when you have a bunch of like minorities or smaller or ethnic people, and a white person comes and solves all the problems, and it's like, oh my god, here.
That's a bit dodgy.
Like, well, we don't need. Yeah, it's a bit dodgy, and especially in Horizon using, it's got very. How would you put it? it's not backwards, but like everything is, because humanity had a reset. You would expect there to be less or more emphasis on diversity and shit, because they don't have any information on racism and how people are looked at, because racism has its roots in like science essentially. Like you'd expect there to be better representation for them and there to be more equality almost, especially because they're in the back, they're less modernized. So yeah, but like Aloy comes and she's like the hero, and like obviously it's cool to have a female strong protagonist and stuff, but she's also white, and like she always goes around and everyone just proclaims her to be this great person, and it's like, yeah, but
there
like,
might be spoilers on what they're talking about, just in case anyone does want to play the game.
That's true, but no, this is just how she's portrayed anyway, and it's like, if you just made her colored, I think it would smooth a lot of the problems. Probably. I'm not saying that that's the best way to go about the situation, but I'm saying like that's why people come out of Horizon a bit like, it's white savior, but it's still awesome. Like, I'm doing my replay and I'm replaying it too. I think the climbing, the climbing and the combat is a bit janky. Yeah, well, I'm used to Dying Light because I've been playing that, and I'm trying to parkour up everything, and it's not working because she can barely jump like anything. Yeah, and is like what she can do sometimes is like more than what she can do in the base game. Like when she's just jumping around doing all these big jumps here, you're like, okay, you can do a lot here. And then you get into the normal like system where you just have to like spam X to try and force that up. It's like, come on, man, that's so annoying. And the combat, I'm happy they're doing they're improving it, because at the moment it's just press R2 and then hope that you get. Yeah, and it takes like 10 seconds for it to like charge up the strike as well. It's so annoying.
I know. Yeah, it looks fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Sadly, we can. Oh my god, the reason I quit my 50k 9 to 5 job. You're a fraud, that's why.
Has come for his first podcast appearance since we've gone live.
Yes. Live right now.
Yeah, we are live.
I'm speaking like we're not live.
Let's see.
Whoops.
I've added you to the thing. It should show up on the screen anytime soon. There you go. Lovely. MK.
What the hell? What?
Welcome. Welcome.
Okay, hold on. Oh, wait. Let me go on the YouTube. And then we should be live.
We've been live for 8 minutes.
And then...
Oh,
I mean, it's not the worst. It's the worst time for him. Oh, I saw Abby yesterday.
Yeah, he was telling me you were walking past when you were talking to someone about football.
Oh yeah, that was the females versus men. I was setting up the debate, and I said, "Look, that's one of our players," and they're like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, I know him." It was brilliant.
Yeah, he said the only reason he didn't stay and talk is because he was going to be late to his lecture. Yeah, accounting.
Business, right?
I don't think he's enjoying it though.
Can't look at shit.
Oh, because I was gonna say my dad's an accountant, and I can ask him if he wants help. I can get my dad to give him.
So my dad's an accountant as well.
But he said he'll get tips.
Yeah.
Is it? Oh my gosh.
Northern Trust.
Where's he work? What's that?
American bank based in Canary Wharf.
Oh, he earns the big money. He's one of them.
Yeah, the angles all the time.
Where did you put your camera on your laptop?
No, the new one.
Did you put it on your laptop?
Yeah, it's not what it's supposed to be.
Why don't you just move your laptop screen down?
No, I'm trying that, but I think the thing might fall off.
Wait, isn't there like a bit
better,
on the
that's
back
better,
that you
actually.
like close so it stays onto?
Yeah. It looks like it's doing it, but I'm quite worried.
No, my one stays on. You
I
should
don't
be
know
alright.
if- Hopefully it stays on. Can you imagine it just falls off? Oh,
That would
fuck.
be funny. It's okay. I just dropped my mic a few seconds ago.
Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it like that. See what happens.
Yeah, we have to get some good stuff in. Okay. No, not the GTA.
Do the
Okay, let's go
360
that
Mafia one. That one's so funny.
What? No. Well, we can do the
No, we
spinning
can't.
monkeys again.
Think.
Why? Oh. Yeah, no, we can't do that one. boys. We
Haram
can't do
says, "Is
one,
that
boys."
MK?"
No,
That's his name is James
Oh no.
Charles. Yeah.
We're gonna get cancelled now.
Oh.
yeah,
No, actually, let me check this guy. Yeah. I have to see. I have to see. Does this guy still
I
bang
think his
views?
viewership has dropped quite a lot.
For like, bruv, he's still
Why
banging
can't
a
we get
million.
views like that? Everyone, share it to 1 million
Yeah.
people at least.
I think it's because we don't dodge the little kids or little boys anyway. If we
It's
did
little
that, I
kids.
think our
It's not
viewership
just
was
little
fine.
boys, it's little kids.
Christian, let him be a sacrifice,
Yeah.
man. He could do it.
All right. Well, everyone, welcome back to Aslam versus the world. Today, the world is Miles and MK. Welcome, everyone. Welcome.
Oh, he's finished. Finished, man.
All right.
It's over.
Well, we'll save the Raheem Sterling one for tomorrow if MK is going to be on it, because I think it would work out.
Actually, no. Oh, actually,
Yeah.
yeah, because this is Aslam versus the world, and I don't really care about. Raheem Sterling, alright.
All right.
You guys can have
Well,
your argument.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome back. Again, 3 questions. You guys can give your opinions in the comments or let us know who you think won each debate. First thing, MK came up with a trade. Oh, I thought of a trade earlier. Aslam didn't agree with it, so here we are. MK, the floor is yours. Give us what you think, or give us context on the trade.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, is Nico here? Is Nico here?
I'm not sure.
If Nico, we should wait for Nico to be here because he's
I don't know
our,
if he's
he's
at
our
work.
NBA guy. Then we can do that one.
I'll message him.
Don't you
I'll
think-
message
oh,
him.
We've got Usman, the referee. Usman's the referee, though.
Okay, we could start off with the usual. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So first question is for all of you. What do you think England's best 11 for the World Cup this year is? I'll start off with Aslam. Actually, should I go by positions?
All right.
Okay, who will be England's
Yeah.
starting goalkeeper at the World Cup in December?
Let me bring up his picture.
Pickford. That's not very complicated. He's I don't think that's hard. We can all agree.
It is fraud.
Oh, what's that?
This is him, like. Sadly, I think
Yeah.
Pickford is a very average keeper in general, but for England, he steps up, which is like it bucks the trend normally, because normally English players flop at big tournaments. But he stepped up. He saved a couple penalties. He has a decent commanding presence, even though he's tiny, in my opinion. And I just find him a bit annoying. But yeah, it's got to be Pickford, hasn't it? Twat.
I agree. Yeah.
You shouldn't be agreeing, man.
Has to be done.
Everton guy.
I don't want to agree, but
Yeah,
he's
but
the
then
only
other-
good keeper, really.
They're all just a bit
He deserves it.
shit. Like English keepers
Yeah.
so far have been shit for a while. Like,
Ramsdale.
Joe Hart was
Ramsdale.
good for a bit, but I always thought he was a bit shit as well.
I think Ramsdale is really better than him. Actually, Ramsdale's a modern day keeper, so I think he's really better than him. For Joe Hart was never good.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie,
He's just like the hair right
Joe
now.
Hart, I thought he was always so overrated.
It's just like the hair. But obviously that's a new
Oh.
topic.
Okay.
Wait, we'll move on to right back.
Are you all in agreement that it's Pickford then? Rams.
Yeah.
Rams,
Easily.
no,
Yeah.
bro, we can't be. This is like 8 games in. Pickford has experience at World Cup, Euros, and he stepped up in all the big moments so far. Ramsdale, meanwhile, got sat on his arse multiple times by Diogo Jota. Let's just move on from Ramsdale for a bit. He can go to number 2. He can go,
Wait.
I'm sorry.
Oh, allow it. I think it's decent.
Come on. Look at that beard. It's beautiful.
Junaid.
Junaid's
Oh,
yeah.
I thought the name Jota like Jota's making a World Cup. You can't see that.
Nico's working at the moment, by the way.
Yeah, Ramsdale is the number 2, but I mean Pickford does everything as well. Really, I think Ramsdale could be better in the future, but right now you've got to give it to Pickford. Anyway, the right back.
Yeah. Okay, right. But are we going? What formation are we going firstly?
Oh yeah, this is my team. I don't want a 3. I want a 4.
4-3-1.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
we'll just say defense.
4-3-1.
Just go. We'll go with your defenders. Give me how many defenders you're going with, and then list them out.
All right. First, it's got to be 4 defenders, but this is tough because one of my picks doesn't really play, and yet I still think he's better than what we got. And one of them's injured, but this is in an ideal scenario. All right, hold on. Share screen. Bosh. Start sharing. This is my right back. There is no dispute on this. I'm close.
For context, he's showing Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Nah.
Oh, can they not see it? Oh, shit. Oh, no. This has scuppered my plans. Good Lord. All right. Well, Trent is there. John Stones is there. Joe Gomez and Chilwell. Now, here's my reasoning, right? Maguire's awful, so we need any other English centre-back. Look, Maguire, he's bad. Listen to my reasoning, right? If we're going to be playing a 4, right, then that means we'll have to press up the pitch, and we need someone with recovery pace. John Stones does not have recovery pace, so if you side him alongside someone like Joe Gomez, he'd look better. We can have Stones as the commanding centre back if you want. I don't mind that. Let Stones lead the defence, but if the way I want England to play is on the front foot, I don't need slow people. So Maguire can get out. Konsa is very good. Look, Maguire is just not in my team. He's not in the squad. He can fuck off. All right, he's shit. I'm done.
So is he not better than Stones?
No. Stones. I was one of Stones' biggest haters because he was shit. But last season he stepped up a level, and this season he's been very good as well. I've got to say.
I've got a comment saying Ben White.
You know what?
No, Arsenal. No, I'm not doing these Arsenal plays. Yeah, Ben White is like, yeah, fuck off. I'm not doing
He's going
this.
to Champions League football next season, man. He's going to play Champions League football next season.
This guy doesn't even watch football, and he wants to be called Benjamin. Get out my squad, man.
You know what? Wait, who's the left back? Who's the left back?
Chilwell, only because the form he was showing and the way that Luke Shaw is playing, like Luke Shaw has not been good. Let's be real. Right. This season he's been terrible. Right. Yeah, last season he was good. Look, Luke Shaw is permanently keeps all the attackers on side for all your goals. I get that he's playing with Harry Maguire. Number 2, Ben Chilwell before the injury was playing well. If he can get back to that level, I'll have Chilwell, especially because Shaw has dropped off a cliff. But if they were both playing at their best, I'd have Luke Shaw. That's my reasoning. You have to play with, what you got.
I completely disagree with all those picks, apart from John Stones. I have to go with tried and tested. Kyle Walker, right back. I cannot escape.
No way.
Huh?
I said no way.
Having Trent. For me, I don't think it works with Southgate. It's not working. Maybe at right wing back.
I'm kicking Southgate out, bro. I'm the manager.
We haven't Klopp.
He's managing this side. This side is going to have a bunch of ballers in there. Yeah, you think I want that waistcoat prick in my squad of talent?
Kyle Walker is crucial.
Bro, you said it yourself here. England are the most talented, like they have the most talented team, arguably, in the world. Why would I not want England to play on the front foot and impose themselves properly? If we're going to do that, we can't have players that can't cross a ball. Kyle Walker cannot cross. He can't. He can't even, half the time he can't dribble. He just relies on his pace.
I need that. Pace and power is what we need. We don't have much pace power in this team. We need a lot. That's why I'm going for Kyle Walker right back. John Stones all day of the week. John Stones next to him because they've got a good relationship at Man City. So why not just put it in England? Left centre back. This one, the person that I had comments shout, dude, he said Ben White. That threw me off because I was gonna say Maguire, even though.
Oh no.
I have to go for Frank. He's more for England, just like Jordan Pickford.
I don't give a shit. It's easy to play well when you're playing like 12 yards away from the goal.
England got to the final by doing
he's
that.
Better, yeah. The kickoff actually made a decent point, right? He's better for mid-table and relegation fodder because he's better at playing closer to his goal. He can't play on the front foot. This guy's a liability. And the worst part is he steps out and tries to play on the front foot while having the recovery pace of a snail. He's a problem. I'm not having this, man. Especially,
I agree with all that. But for England, for some reason, I don't know why, he's one of the best in Europe.
I'm not having Harry Maguire anywhere near myself. I don't need his low standards, right? This guy will be happy to get into a semi-final. I need winners. This guy's a loser. He has more experience.
I want to go 3 at the back. Well, hear me out. I'm going 3 at the back for this one. Right centre back, I'm going for Kyle Walker, John Stones, and left centre back, I'm going for Kilman. You have to hear me out with Kilman.
I don't mind Kilman.
He's for me the best left foot centre back of his age group in Europe. There ain't no one better. He's because Ruben Evans, because he played for Wolves, they will never get recognised. They need to leave Wolves for them to get the recognition. Because for me, Kilman, he's up there, one of the best on the 21 centre backs, or is he 22? Or however old he is, he's definitely one of the best young centre backs.
I don't mind Kilman, to be honest.
For 3. If you're doing it for, Maguire has to be there because he has experience. I need experience in tournament. Otherwise, you put in there. Joe Gomez, he can't play for Liverpool. We actually need players that can play for their club football. So I'd rather have Webster.
Yeah, but it's easier to play for Man United than it's to play for Liverpool. Even if the standards at Man United are down here, the standards at Liverpool are up here. I'm not taking your dog shit footballers. All right, I'm sorry.
Okay.
But you can't say that this player is starting and this player is not. I would still take Joe Gomez over every single centre back you took. It's just that the standard at Liverpool is much higher.
Well, Konate's not all that. Konate's not all that, and Konate starts over him. Like how many games has he started over him?
Wicked, what are you talking about?
What?
No, because
stop going on to Konate. Stick to the England game.
Yeah, Konate is sick. And left. Who's your left wing back?
Well, I'm going for left wing back. Luke Shaw, isn't it? Why not? He's got 4 assists this season, and
he's still shit.
The biggest man in English history since 1966. Luke Shaw is my left wing back.
Yeah, but it didn't mean anything though.
It should have meant something if it should have got to penalties, but if a certain coach didn't decide to put Sancho as the second penalty and Bukayo Saka as the 5th, maybe we'll won.
Here's another point for us. Southgate put on 2 bottle job Man United players and look at what they did. I don't need any Man United players in my team after what they've done previously. All right, I don't need any of that shit. I need winners and I need reliable players. Sancho, I like Sancho. I'm not going at Sancho. He's a lovely player.
What?
Yeah. Okay, fine.
Can't just
in our midfield.
No, wait. Does Miles agree with you? Who's Miles?
Miles, who's your defense?
Yeah, actually, Miles, who's got the better 4? Me or this guy's gone 5.
Yeah.
But who's got the better defense in your opinion?
Miles has to give his opinion. By the way, he is against you.
Well,
it's Aslam
not really. Well, I don't have to be against him. It wasn't pre-established. I didn't know he was going to pick. I agree with him. Apart from Stones, I would put Maguire into Stones because he's just... I think he's better. But he's still not good. He's just better than Stones. Exactly.
Okay. Here's my hierarchy, right? I'd have Stones at the top because right now he's the best English centre-back. I'd have Gomez there. And then 3rd place is Ezri Konsa. And then, like, at the bottom... is like defenders, and alongside him, Harry Maguire. That
He's
is
not
where
that
he should be. That is where he should
Well,
be.
not when he plays for England. He's not that bad.
Bro, this guy, do you not remember? Didn't he get a red card for England in like half an hour? Are you just forgetting this?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't watch England, so yeah, I am forgetting it.
Look, yeah, so
Sure.
I'm taking the points for the defence bit. Miles agrees with me on the whole, even if we disagree on Maguire. Let's go. Me and Miles for the win.
Trent and Shaw as wing backs. No, it's not your division.
What's the next one? Midfield. Who's in your midfield?
MK put out a good formation for me anyway. 4-2-3-1. My two midfielders, Declan Rice, Jude Bellingham. I love Jude Bellingham. I think he's class. And I think he alleviates the pressure that England faced in the Euros, in that when the going got tough, they didn't have a midfielder that could step in, either play off the dribble or just ping balls around and start to take control of the game. Calvin Phillips is not that guy. Jude Bellingham is class personified, and I think he'll be an England mainstay for the rest of his career, basically. Yeah, not Jordan Henderson. That guy, get out. He's shit. He's shit. He's not in the squad. Actually, no. We'll have him in the squad, but he's not allowed to be on the pitch. He's a cheerleader for us. We'll give him pom-pom, and we'll give him a microphone, and we'll just have him scream out stuff. That's all we do with Henderson. I don't need anything more. If I see this guy pick up ball, I might kill myself. Oh.
Mike
No.
Phil. MK, what's your midfield?
Well, because I'm going for 3-4-3, I already had.
He already has his wing back.
Yeah.
So midfield would be Bellingham and Rice. I agree.
Alright, Bellingham,
Yes.
Rice. Miles, you
So
agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not Jordan Henderson?
Nah, not Henderson. He's not that good.
He doesn't make the squad for me.
He's on
Doesn't make
par
the
with
squad.
Scott McTominay right now, but even still, Henderson still has decent performances. Like, he bossed Man United.
Yeah.
He actually bossed you guys. Let's be real.
McTominay's shocking. I don't know.
Here's my team so far. Senghor, I have Pickford. Right back, Trent. Centre back, Gomez and Stones. Left back, Chilwell if he can get back to fitness and on form. Otherwise, it's Luke Shaw. And then my midfield is Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham. And
Yeah, that's class.
all right, the three is going to be difficult though.
Easy for me.
Well, actually, yeah, you go with your forwards then.
My attack:
Yeah.
Sterling, Kane, Saka. It's not even complicated. This.
All right. I'm going to go with MK's boy here. In the
Sancho or
10, I have
Grealish. He
Phil
seems up.
Foden. No.
Oh, Foden.
Yeah. See, he forgot about him. I get extra brownie points for that. The guy's just.
I've got to change information. I can't have Foden on my team. What's this?
I like Phil Foden.
Oh man, I didn't. Oh.
Okay, yeah, I have to go with him. I think if Sancho
You know what? I'm taking information.
this.
Young man comes out.
Okay, actually, wait. Oh.
I've got to change information. Oh man, you just threw me Foden. Okay, let's change formation. I agree with that information. 43-1.
Listen, no. Shut up, right?
What?
I'm finishing
You just
my
told me that
team.
Foden.
So I've got Foden in the 10. I've got Sancho on the left. I've got Sterling on the right. And then I've got Kane up top. Because I think Sancho's ceiling is higher than Saka's in my opinion. And I think, again, he's another player that when the going gets tough, he can alleviate some pressure by offering something else in the midfield. Because he can take people on as well as he can play a pass. And that's what you need. In my opinion, anyway. Actually, here.
I'm starting to warm to the island. Oh, that's actually a really good front three. Oh wow.
Heskey
go on,
Hitman asks, not Foden or
43-1.
even Sancho over Saka.
Foden's not widely.
Oh,
I prefer him in the 10. I'm not playing out the wide. And Sancho, Saka's be better this season. I think Saka's a bit different on the right wing. Although Sterling's really good right wing too, so it's a bit hard.
Mm-hmm. Miles, you agree with their front threes?
Yeah, I agree with Aslam's.
Yes, I'm taking.
Yeah, man. The Kilman shout messed me up a bit. I didn't realize that.
Does anyone have any other comments they want to add onto England's 11? Like what players you definitely would take or wouldn't take?
Well, for sure, Sterling has to be the main man again.
Bro, I think we should take DCL.
Calvin shouldn't have been.
Why?
Here's my reasoning. Because for so long, we're just a bit like we shouldn't laugh at that because he offers something different. Everyone else is a bit similar. Like Ollie Watkins, he'll give you a lot of pace, but we've got a lot of pace anyway. Like DCL is one of the best headers of the ball in the Premier League, and all he needs to do is either hold the ball at the end, or if we need a goal, he's a threat from set pieces. Plus, you can even stick him in defense, man. You can stick him in defense and let him head some balls out. Let's be real. Not Super Jack on the left. No, I'm quite all right. Have him on the bench. He was good as an impact sub.
Fuck's sake. Oh, no.
He's second to Kane. And if my auntie had will, she'd be a bike, but she's not. That's the Camper. He comes out with some good lines, you know. He comes out with some good lines. So then, shit, who else? Oh, Sterling, Kane. That's my... What a team, in my opinion.
Cool. What MK Grealish doesn't get in your team?
No, super sub. I think that's where he's the best out of it when he makes an impact. Because if I start him, I'm not having him over Sterling, and I can't have him over Foden. I just can't do it. So right wing, he's not right wing. Or even if you want to put Sterling at right and put Grealish at left, that could work. To be fair, yeah, that could work. But then Sancho, does Sancho give you more?
I think so.
I'm going to put Grealish as the... Actually, no, he's better off the bench. First man off the bench is Grealish.
Miles, anyone you're definitely going to take? Anyone surprising?
Nah, not really. I agree with MK that I'd take Grealish, but I wouldn't start him. But not anyone really surprising or special that I'd take on the bench or anything like that. I just agree with Aslam's team pretty much, apart from Stones.
Is there anyone you'd definitely leave at home and not take?
Yeah, who did I? Harry Maguire. Yeah, I'm not taking.
No, I'm not taking. You need a bit of Maguire in there, man.
I'm taking, bro. I don't know why. Like you watch Maguire day in day out. Yeah, you see this bozo.
Yeah,
awful.
Yeah,
awful.
I agree. But it's not. I don't know why.
Oh, actually, also, I would only take 2 goalkeepers. I'm not having 3 goalkeepers. You take 2 and you pad out the rest of your options.
What about Reece James at right back?
I like Reece James, but he's also injured right now. Yeah. And
he doesn't get in out of Trent either.
Yeah. Well, I think if this is Southgate's England, then he'd be better than Kyle Walker because he's got pace, he's got power, and he can also cross a ball. But currently, he's not fit. And in my team, he'd be second option to Trent because, in my opinion, talent over, everything really.
I personally, just for the hell of it, would leave leave Pickford in Newcastle just because I hate him. Just instead of putting him in Sunderland, just leave him in Newcastle. See what happens over December.
Come on, Pickford. He steps up for England. What's wrong with Pickford?
Maguire does. It's not saying anything.
Well, actually, you're not saying Liverpool.
Yeah.
He's good for England. That's what matters. But also, he's a surprise pick, innit? My surprise pick would be Kilman. Because no one thought about him. So I'll pick him.
Look, yeah. You copied my midfield, and you also were forced to change Foden into the side after I brought him up. And he's supposed to be your boy.
I completely forgot Foden. He definitely starts for me. Foden has a 10 with Sancho, Kane, and Sterling. Even I probably would take Sancho out, but second there. That's been everything in the whole world. No one can do that.
Yeah, what a team. As always, I
If South we got play like Jordan, we play some stupid team.
Cool.
It's great Mason Mount.
Oh yeah, Mason Mount will be in there. I'm not tired. He's my backup 10. But again, talent over hard work, I guess. Even though I think Mason Mount's very talented, and he's a very good player.
Cool. Before we move on to the next question, I would like to apologize for one thing. Miles's camera or Miles's little preview thing keeps changing size on the video. I have no idea why.
Oh,
so I'm constantly fixing that. I apologize if that's very like distracting or anything, but it's all good. All right, cool. Thank you for that, everyone. Quickly, Ali says Emil Smith Rowe.
Good shout, and I'll definitely have him in my squad. He's not starting no way.
Start for Arsenal.
He does start for Arsenal, yeah, exactly. It's Odegaard. So, but he definitely will be in the squad for me.
Fair enough. All right. Our second question comes from MK's brilliant ability to surprise us from time to time.
Yes, get out.
It is a hypothetical trade between the Golden State Warriors and the Los Angeles Clippers, where Wiggins would go to the Clippers and Paul George would go to the Warriors.
You just have to hear me out.
Yeah, okay, MK has the floor.
You just have to hear me out. Well, with context added, obviously, it's not a straight swap. Obviously, that's stupid. But if you just put Paul George, who's obviously 32 and obviously he's getting on age a little bit, just have him. He's like, obviously, I'm just assuming, this is all hypothetical. I'm assuming there's a little tiny fallout between him and the Clippers after they obviously have Kawhi as out for the rest of the season. They just don't make it through the playoffs. So because of that, I think that maybe.
Oh shit! Sorry.
Andrew Wiggins.
Cheers.
Jordan Poole. What's going on? Well, Andrew Wiggins, Jordan Poole, Wiseman, and Moses Moody, plus a few picks for Paul George. I think that does the business.
Here's my thing, right? I'm not saying that that's a bad trade. Like, in terms of actual value, it's good. But here's why I think never take it under any circumstance, right? Number one, PG and Kawhi are the cornerstones of the franchise. They will push, or they will be the reason that the Clippers win the title, right? It's based off of them two and then a bunch of bench pieces. Now, last year, they beat the Mavericks and Kawhi went down, and then they went and beat the Jazz, and then they got to the Western Conference Final, and eventually they were outmatched, right? But PG was great throughout. This season, PG was playing arguably at an MVP level, right? So we've seen that PG can play at a very high level still. He got injured, Kawhi gets injured, and then at the trade deadline, they add more pieces to their bench to try and bolster next year, right? So I think the Clippers will never take it, because what you're doing is you're going from two pieces that are arguably both top 10 to Kawhi with a bunch of good players, but not that extra piece that he can rely on in the clutch. That's why I said it's a stupid trade for the Clippers. Not because what you're giving is bad, but just because you go from having two arguably top 10 to a bunch of good pieces around Kawhi, but not a team that you would look to and say, well, they're championship contenders. And you've said it yourself, the Clippers are a very good side and they're one of the top 5 championship contenders if Kawhi and PG are both healthy. So if they're both healthy, why would they trade PG away?
Yeah. It depends on the offer. And like I said, the offer that Warriors will offer is an all-star starter. Whether you think he should be there or not, he's there. Wiggins. And then you have Jordan Poole, who the Warriors are banking on to be their future point guard. And obviously, I don't see Warriors trading Jordan Poole. But the Kings just traded Halliburton. I don't think that.
Oh, he's gone.
His connections are weird. We apologise for that. While MK is gone.
There's not much. I think.
Oh, he's gone.
Oh,
Oh, he's back.
I think he's back.
Hello,
I'm
MK.
back.
Yep, you're back.
What the fuck happened here? Yeah, I mean, it's probably the first time. First time. Wait, is it actually working still?
Yeah,
yeah,
we
yeah.
can see
You're
you.
back now.
Yeah, it's frozen now. What was I saying? Yeah, I could tell. What was I saying
You were
again?
talking about
Of course.
the trades that they made. I believe the Clippers made.
Oh yeah. About the Kings. Yeah, I was just saying that if the Kings make that type of offer for, yeah, I know Sabonis and Paul George are way different. Like, Paul George is way better than Sabonis, but I'm just seeing how Halliburton and Buddy Hield got Sabonis. I mean, that's a bit of a strange deal. And there's no need for Pacers to do that.
They're pushing for play-ins essentially, and right now Sabonis is a better player than Halliburton, is what they're thinking. So
The Clippers are not that close. Like Warriors are closest to a championship. Man. All they need much of a team. Like, let's say they're fall short this year. They need them to go all out to make sure that their core wins one more ring at least. Because there's never ever going to be a Steph, Clay, Draymond core ever again in any team. It's probably the most unique three ever. And they're all in their prime. Obviously, Steph's 33, and then Draymond and Clay are 31. So but all three of them in their prime. And adding Paul George is also in his prime. That's also kind of giving away your future a bit. But keeping Kuminga, is just a superstar. He's already a superstar for me. In terms of next 2 years, he will be a superstar. That's how good he is. But just keeping Kuminga and then getting rid of the rest of the future, I think that could definitely get Paul George. That's if this is.
I just don't think the Clippers would trade away George.
I'm just assuming this is a little fallout between Clippers and Paul George, just a little one, just like it happened Pacers. Because remember, he's not a Clippers. Clippers didn't draft him. He's from Pacers.
Look, guys. This guy is relying on the possibility of a potential tiny falling out for this trade to work. Come on, man.
What are you doing, you know?
He's using the hypothetical. This is nonsense. Come on.
We have Nico's opinion, considering he's not here. I told him the hypothetical trade. He said that's a bad trade, just straight up.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Oh my god! I just keep talking dogs.
He said that's a bad trade because Paul George doesn't fit in with Golden State's type. I then asked him, "Do you think it changes the Clippers' championship possibility?" He said, "Yes, definitely."
There you go.
Yeah, it does change your possibilities. There could be better because remember the Raptors.
Yeah, come on, man.
No, Jordan Poole.
Yeah, but okay. Hold on. Let me check the stats. Hold on.
Forget that they can actually away and get someone else that's better than Wiggins, like a Brandon Ingram.
Yeah, but then your trade changes then.
Yeah,
it's a great trade.
As far as we know, the terms of the trade are is Wiggins to the Clippers, so we're working off of Wiggins to the Clippers. If you're then saying that the Clippers can always move Wiggins on for another player, it changes the debate. Because that's just saying if they get rid of Paul George, they can put another player who could push them towards better championship possibilities. We're specifically saying if the trade is between Golden State and the Clippers, where Paul George goes to the Golden State Warriors and Wiggins goes to the Clippers, do the Clippers' championship possibilities stay exactly the same? Or does it go down as we think it will do?
It would go down, of course, because Paul George is better played than both Paul and Wiggins.
Yeah, but then
maybe. Well, there's not much difference.
Yeah, but then there's no argument in the debate that we're having. There's no argument that if they did sell Wiggins on for someone else, then there would be a better team. Because surely they would. Because they do their due diligence with possible trades going forward, right? But specifically just this trade, do you think if the Golden State Warriors traded Wiggins straight up, or Wiggins and picks for Paul George, that it's a good trade for the Clippers, who are trying to win?
I'm adding other players into it.
even
I'm not
still,
having
their championship.
It's Jordan Poole. He's at 80. Do you know how many points he's
Championship
got?
possibilities go down, and you know they do. You're arguing that
2 point.
they already have one of the deepest rosters around anyway. You're just bolstering that with a bunch of good players that aren't Paul George. Their bench is class anyway. Do you not see, like, Reggie Jackson stepped up in the playoffs last year? Trey Mann was
And
good.
Kawhi
Dwight was
also
good.
again.
Like, the Clippers roster is really good anyway. But to win a championship, they need their two big boys to stay up.
Is it me or
they trade away the second piece that Kawhi specifically went to Paul George and said, bro, come to the Clippers. After Russ tried to beg it to get to the Clippers, he said, no, I'm going for Paul George instead. You got Paul George. Then they had their first bad year, obviously. But the second year, Paul George stepped up massively. And he played along with the roster and he got them to a Western Conference final without Kawhi. So he's shown that he can be clutch and he can step up. So why would they then trade that away for Andrew Wiggins and a bunch of other people? It makes no sense. You wouldn't look at the Clippers and be like, oh shit, this is a scary team.
I'm all on it.
Kawhi's really good and Wiggins is good and Poole is good, but they're not Paul George. That's the problem. It doesn't work for the Clippers and their aspirations, and so it's a bad trade.
Well, you can see, I literally said all four of them combined are better than Paul George. Because Jordan Poole is a 16-point per game player. 16 point. You can't deny that. Yeah, that's almost too far from Clay.
Yeah, but you're not looking at it from the Clippers side.
But the Clippers,
why would they want to trade away a person like Paul George? Like, it doesn't make sense.
Because the Raptors, wait, look at the Raptors. They didn't have a superstar. It was just quiet. It's just him and.
That's completely different. The Raptors were good. They had a set culture. They had a great defense. They just didn't have a player like Kawhi that could push them over the line.
Wiggins is a great
because they'd already they'd already gone up and they were arguably one of the best teams. It's just LeBron kept on beating the shit out of them. So eventually they went and looked and said, well, we need someone better. And they got rid of DeMar and traded for Kawhi. But the pieces around them are great. I'm not saying that you need two pieces to win it, but I'm saying you've already got a player like Kawhi who is very sensitive, let's say. So why would you trade away someone that he specifically asked for and recruited? Why would you bring in more like good pieces around when you've already got a bunch of pieces anyway that combine to make something good? And the biggest problem with the Clippers isn't the bench or the other pieces around the two. It's the two stepping up and either staying or being there in the clutch. It weren't the first year, and the second year they weren't healthy. So it's a bad trade for them. Their championship aspirations go down instantly. You don't look at them as credibly, and you're not worried about them. So it's a bad trade for them. Oh. It's a good trade for the Warriors, obviously, because they get Paul George. And that's just a four that's incredible. But it's not good for the Clippers because in the short run, their championship hopes go down immediately. My God.
I'm just assuming that obviously NBA is not a clean sport. It's just not. No sport's clean. So there's obviously be tampering around everywhere. And obviously there's always been good relationships between Draymond and Steph with.
He's gone.
Oh no.
Anyway, here's what we'll do, right?
Quickly before you move on to the next debate.
We're going around this. So, what did you guys think? Who did you guys think won that debate, boys?
Vikings are planning to introduce Rams offensive coordinator Kevin O'Connor as their next head coach.
Cute.
Yeah.
That's
on
pretty
Thursday.
Interesting, I'd say.
Yeah. That's great. You just want to see.
The only thing is, I'd add on to that is offensive coordinator. Your offense wasn't a problem this year.
Yeah, but yeah, true.
You said it was the
good
defense
point
was arguably the main issue for. The defense at the end of the game was the main issue for the Vikings, wasn't it?
Yeah, but we're not hiring him as an offensive coordinator, are we? We're hiring him as a head coach. So and then he can hire who he thinks is a good
I'd be
defensive
very shocked
coordinator.
if he gets the defensive coordinator who's currently the Rams one. I can't remember his name. But
Yeah, I doubt
you
it.
never.
There's been rumours, but I can't remember who the rumours were for a defensive coordinator.
MK has
Miles-
frozen completely.
Yeah, Miles, who do you think won that debate?
I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't really listening, but I'm gonna say MK just to annoy you.
Who do you?
I mean, I agreed with you in the first place. I thought MK's trade was really, really dumb.
Yeah.
That's 1-1 though.
Yeah, okay. Some audience member, please. Who do you think won that debate?
Say
Don't
MK
say
just to annoy us.
MK. Unless you believe MK won it.
Huh?
Oh, we're going to the results. So currently, Miles picked you as the winner because he'd like to annoy me, I guess, which is fair enough. Usman picked me, so now I'm relying on. Oh, shut up, man.
Man, I was thinking,
That was good.
I was gonna say that the Warriors could tamper up. That could happen. Who knows?
All right. Now.
All right. While we wait for the audience people, Usman,
Yeah, and it's
our
like
final debate.
180 spin from where we were. We talked about football in our first debate. We talked about NBA in our second debate. Now it's time to flip the switch completely. Everyone, the final debate question for today. Does God exist? A bit of context for this. Aslam and Miles were arguing about this late last week. And so we figured, hey, it's usually a big debate topic. Why not talk about it on the debate?
Now, obviously, this is a bit unfair on Miles because he's got 3 God-fearing people.
I will stay out of it. I will try to keep as neutral as I can. It will most likely be between MK Aslam. It will be between MK and Aslam versus Miles. Just because of the unfairness of it. Miles, take the floor. Give us your opinion. Does God exist?
Alright, so my opinion is that God does not exist. I am an atheist and I don't believe in any God. But before we get into the debate, I want to mention that I don't have anything against anybody who is religious. I don't think you're all idiots or anything like that. And you can have your own opinion. I just don't agree with that opinion. So, yeah, I've got some arguments written down that I was just sort of wanted to ask for you lot to counter it. So my first sort of argument is where there's no evidence of a God. So where is the evidence that God exists?
Okay.
Yes, I'm asking you.
A list of options.
No.
Essentially, right? When we think about religion is a belief system. Now, with belief systems, it's not rooted in fact or opinion, right? It's rooted in your faith and how much you can just let go of your science-based approach, right? I'm not saying that there's definitive fact that God exists, but God is real to me, and he speaks to a lot of people, right? Now, same with pain. If I punch you, and sometimes I'll leave a bruise, right? But you can feel the punch regardless. Now, if I ask you to explain to me where pain is, you can't show me pain. Pain is a feeling. It's an innate thing inside you. You can't say, well, here's pain, because there's no factual basis towards it. You can't say what pain is and what pain isn't. It's just a feeling that you accept. It's the same with God, isn't it?
So
there's my counter.
So you're basically saying that he might not be real, and that it's just your opinion that he's real.
Of course.
Yeah, but I'm saying because you believe that he's real, why do you believe that he's real? What proof is there that he's real to you?
Doesn't need proof to me though.
Why?
Because it's belief. I'm not going around telling people that God is 100% real and there's 500 reasons why he's real, right?
Yeah.
I'm saying that I believe in him because, first of all, obviously I've been brought up in a Muslim household,
Yeah.
but I just think that there's many signs towards it. For instance, right, if you look at the creation of the world, if I told you today, here's my story for today, right? Here's how I came to be. So I woke up, right, and I was feeling hungry. Now, as I was feeling hungry, the craziest thing happened to me. Nature just felt that I was hungry, and food appeared in front of me. I had a cup of tea, and there was a chocolate next to me, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. And then I was like, wow, well, that was great, but now I really feel I need some air. And suddenly the window just opened, right? And I was like, wow, this is crazy, right? If I asked you to believe me, would you believe me?
No.
All right, but why is that believable than you telling me, well, like a couple billion years ago, right? There was nothing in the world, right? And then two particles just came to be, collided together, and suddenly we had a solar system, we had the sun, the earth, the moon, all of this stuff. And not only do we have that, right? If we look at all these different things, the sun is at the right position that it doesn't burn the shit out of us. And it also isn't cold enough that we're left just completely cold. The moon is at the perfect distance that it doesn't cause tidal waves and all this shit, but it also, gives us something else to look at, and it doesn't block out all of this shit. And if you look at the earth, we've got enough nitrogen in the atmosphere that we don't burn as a result of the sun's heat. But we've got enough oxygen to survive. We've got forces like gravity. We've got everything perfectly made.
Mm-hmm.
That just came about because two particles collided, boom, and there was no creator. Nature just came and gave me all this food and stuff. To you saying, well, two things collided from nothing. There was nothing, and then there was something, and then there was something beautiful, and it just all came to be, and it was all perfect. All brilliant.
But that goes back to my argument of like there's evidence of the universe just being created out of particles hitting into each other, but there's no evidence of you like looking, and there's no evidence of chocolate appearing in front of you or your window randomly opening. Like
I'm not disputing the Big Bang. I'm saying the Big Bang happened and it's brilliant, right? But I'm saying there's a principle behind it all that allowed everything to happen. Otherwise, it's just silly for me to think, randomly nothing was there. There's absolutely nothing, and then luckily, these two things hit, collide, boom, the world's created. Everything.
So you're saying that a creator created the Big Bang?
Yeah.
But what created the creator then?
Nothing.
Well, but you're saying how can the world come out of nothing? And then because a creator made it, but then you're saying the creator came out of nothing. So it's the same argument.
Okay, if we believe that God, right, is a being beyond our understanding, he's beyond time, beyond intelligence, he's beyond everything, then why do we have to understand God for him to be real? We don't need that. We don't have the level. We can combine all of the intelligence of the human race, animals, put the fucking suns, all of that shit. You can put all of them together. They offer a speck. They're nothing to God's intelligence, right?
Yeah.
Why do we have to understand God for him to be real? Why do we need proof?
Because then you can just say anything's real. But yeah, but it's not, is it? You're just saying things.
But again, why do I need? I don't need proof.
Well, you don't need it. I'm just saying, if you want to believe it, surely you would want there to be evidence.
But if we believe that life is a test, then why do I need the answers? If the true goal in life is that this is a test, and God has put us through all of this, what's the point in having definitive proof that he is or isn't real if the end goal is to believe in him at the end and to believe that he is this being that is greater than us and he deserves to be worshipped? It's like if a teacher has a test, right?
Yeah.
And instead of letting you do the work beforehand, he just put all the answers next to it and said, well, here you go. Here's a test. You've got your answer paper, but you've also got the question paper. And they're both next to each other. So you don't learn anything, it's just all there. Good for you. If you learn, great. If you didn't, well, it's there for you. It doesn't make sense, does it? And
Well, so you're saying that life is a test, but you don't need any proof that it's a test. So then, why would you do stuff that like you believe? Why would you test yourself because you believe someone's testing you when you have no evidence that they're testing you? You have no reason to do that. You just do it for your own gain. It's like if I want to become a footballer, I'm doing it because I want to become a footballer. I'm not doing it because I think God has told me to become a footballer.
Yeah, but again, the end goal out of this is to reach heaven, which is a place far better than all of this, no?
Yeah, but how do you know that that's real?
Because God told us. He said in multiple books, he sent down 124,000 prophets in Muslim belief.
Yeah.
He's
He
given us.
told you in books, but how do you know he wrote those books? How do you know some peasant dude didn't just write those books in like 10 BC and told everyone that God told him that these books are real? And then,
For instance, with the Quran, let's say, it's the only book in history not to be doctored or changed since its inception to its to now. It's got oral traditions that come from the time of the Prophet to now. It hasn't been changed in any way. Furthermore, in the Quran, you see evidence of all of this. You see him talking about the Big Bang. You see him talking about a bunch of scientific stuff that science has been catching up to the Quran. There's basis in the Quran for all of this.
Yeah, but still, anyone could have made that up.
What I'm saying is, 1,400 years ago, there's a book that came out with scientific theories, with maths, with rules on how to live, with evidence of the Big Bang. And science took 1,000 years to prove all of this, but it was already in the books 1,400 years ago. And we look at society back then and think, well, that was backwards, that wasn't as modern. And yet this book that hasn't been changed is 840 odd pages, has all of this evidence. It's a bit weird, don't you think?
Yeah, it is a bit weird, but obviously I haven't read the Quran or the Bible or anything, but does it literally say, oh, there was a Big Bang, or does it like give an interpretation that can now be interpreted to be the Big Bang now that we know the Big Bang is a thing?
It talks about how the world was created. You can here. Let me find the Quranic verse.
All right.
Verses
because like anyone can say that, they just assume that it came out of nothing, because that's like the most logical explanation anyway.
Anyway, there's a whole Quora page on it if you want to search it. I can send it on the group chat. I don't want to read out what these are saying, but I also think it's just logical to assume that there is a God. And here's my reasoning, right? You gain everything if you believe there is a God, and you lose absolutely nothing. So if you live life right and you believe that there is a God, and then you die, you have two pathways. You either die and you're a believer, and because you believe in God, let's say you go to heaven, right? That's the end goal, and you reach heaven. Maybe if there is no God, then nothing happens to you, right?
Yeah.
Those are the possibilities. If you're a non-believer and you die, there's no pathway for you to go straight to heaven, is there? It's just bad stuff for you.
Yeah, but like if I don't believe in heaven anyway, then I'm not missing out on anything, am I? Because if heaven is real, and surely I would go there anyway, even if I don't believe that it's real. At least that's what it is in Christianity, I think. Like, you're going to go to heaven or hell either way. Why does it matter if I believe in God? Like, is he really that salty that he's like, oh, well, I didn't like you. I mean, you didn't believe me in life, so now I don't like you. So now you're just going to go into nothing. But then I believe in nothing anyway, so I'm not bothered about that.
Well, again, this has basis in Islam as well. Essentially, right? This will be a trick for you. Before this world, before these 4.5 billion worlds, there was a land and it was full of spirits, right? Now, as we all assume that God has all knowledge, he's all powerful and everything. So before this world came to be, he said, well, you lot are going to heaven and you lot are going to hell. And because I know this, I'm doing it. And as the spirits, we're like, well, that's a bit unfair, isn't it? You haven't given us a fair college try, You haven't given us the opportunity to prove ourselves. This is the opportunity to prove ourselves, to believe that there is a God and to believe in him and worship him, right? Because it's like if we're in a school again, right? And the teacher just goes, well, you 5 twats are terrible. You're terrible. You've been failing all year, right? So I'm just going to fail you off the bat. You lot who have been good, I'm going to send you next class. Go on, you're into the next year. You would sit there, if you were one of the 5, let's say, and go, well, that's a bit unfair. You didn't give me the opportunity to try and prove to you that I am good enough to go to the next class. So that's why this will be. It's a test to prove to God that we had a reason to stand here and say, well, we deserve a try. That's what this is. That's why that's why in most religions, this life is a test.
But with the teacher example, the teacher's actually there telling you what to do at the start. No one told me what to do at the start.
Well, there's a bunch of books. You've got all these books.
Yeah, but no one told me to read those books. Surely if those books were that important, you'd be like forced to read it before you're born or something.
That's why there's free will, no? You have the opportunity to read and everything. If there was force upon it, then it's not a test. It's not me going out of my way to learn more about my religion, for instance, or you doing the same. Then it's just, well, you've all read the books, and if you believe, and you have to believe. Then there's no point in having the test because you're forced into a certain belief system. That's why there's free will, because people are allowed to get the opportunity to prove to God, and through this you learn. Either you want to learn about God and come to your own conclusion as a result, or you don't. And if you don't, that's fair enough. You've got 60, 70 years, you've got a bunch of good stuff on this earth that you can do in that time, and if you move on, isn't it? You live your life. That's why there's no pressure. It's not like obviously there's missionaries and all of this stuff for religions, and religious people want you to go there, but if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. There's no force upon you. You don't have to succeed, but it's better if you do. That's why I said there's logical basis. You can gain everything.
But why is it better? What do you gain?
Heaven. It's a place better.
But like I said, all right. What happens to me then?
I don't know. That's not too bad. You're a great person. Maybe you still have a chance.
Exactly. So if I still have a chance, then I'm fine just doing what I'm doing. I don't have to follow a religion.
That's right, but it's like if we were equating all of us, let's say success is £1 million, right?
Mm.
If me, Usman, and MK are all working and doing all of our stuff, right, to try and gain to that £1 million, and you sit around at home and you're watching TV all day, can you realistically get £1 million? Of course, you still have a chance. It's minute, but you still have a chance. But do you know us three would have a better chance of getting to that goal of £1 million? Definitely. Because I would be working towards reaching that £1 million rather than, sitting around and believing that, yeah, I can get £1 million. I'll just watch the TV. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. But it's like, why? It's still like the same argument for me. It's like, unless I see some evidence or something, then I'm not going to go out of my way to believe in a religion or follow the laws of a religion. And for the chance of getting into heaven, and it might happen anyway. And if it doesn't happen, then nothing happens. And I think, like I said, I think nothing is going to happen anyway. So it doesn't bother me if nothing happens. Why is like heaven such a good motivation anyway? Because it's like
traditions on heaven. Bro, it's the best place ever.
Like it sounds great. It sounds great, but it's like, how do I know that it even is real? I might as well enjoy what I know is real instead of working to try and get into something that I know that I don't know if it's real.
But wouldn't you want to believe that your life has meaning as a result? Because religion gives your life meaning.
Yeah, I mean, like when I die, right? Like I'm scared of dying because who wants to die? But it's like if something good happens after, then great. But I don't think it will. So
I mean,
I was going to make another point, but I sort of forgot what I was talking about halfway through.
I mean, hypothetically speaking, again, if there was a God and you didn't believe and you done a bunch of terrorist stuff, I mean, there's only one place you realistically would go, and that's not 6 feet down under. That's about a bajillion feet down under with a certain red fellow.
Yeah,
obviously that's not up to us.
That doesn't bother me. Well, it does bother me. If that was to happen, it would bother me. But like, I don't know if that's gonna happen or not. So there's no point being
I mean,
scared
it's
of
not
it
like
now.
you're
is
going
it?
out and doing horrible stuff anyway, are you?
Maybe. No, I'm not. But
I look at all those Funko Pops. I wonder where he funded.
student loan. That's how I funded them.
This is terrible. I mean, in revenue, the boil. Oh my goodness. Anyway, this just all comes back to, logically speaking, you can gain everything from believing, and you lose absolutely nothing. Whereas if you're not, you lose absolutely everything in, you know, the most perfect place ever, where in traditions you don't need to pee, you don't need to shit, you get whatever you want. There's like 21 different levels, you know.
But I don't do so if I don't believe in it.
But anything imaginable to you just is there. It's a place better than... It's like living in a millionaire's paradise, but like multiplied by like a bajillion.
But that's not like scientifically possible, is it? So how do you know that is scientifically going to happen?
God is beyond science.
Yeah, but that's why it doesn't make sense. They can't just be like a random dude that like created everything. Well, they could. I'm not saying that he's like 100% certainly not real, because like you can't say that really, can you? Because there's a possibility, but it's like highly unlikely. So there's no point.
Highly unlikely. Wouldn't you want to believe in someone that epic and cool that can?
Well, no, not really, because he's not epic and cool. This is one of my arguments. If he was so epic and cool, why does he allow kids to die of cancer? Even if he was real, I wouldn't like him. He just allows loads of shit to happen that's not good for anybody. It's like, but like, say a kid is born, right, and has like leukemia or something and dies at like 1 year old. You can't say that that kid failed the test of God or something, because they have no concept of that yet. So what does...
Or she.
Yeah, all right, but just let them live their lives first then, innit? Don't give them cancer. Why does the guy give everybody cancer?
Okay. Let's put it this way. In your scenario, this baby has got leukemia. He's off to heaven, right?
Yeah.
Now, say let him live. But if heaven is better than the way we live, then isn't that better reward? Now, I'm not saying that, you know, cancer is... Everyone should...
All right, so why doesn't everyone get cancer and die then and go to heaven?
Everyone does die. That's the point.
Yeah, they die. All right, but why does some kids get a free pass to heaven then, and I got to live my life trying to get into heaven when I could have just died of cancer?
You just say that cancer is so bad. You can't switch up your arguments like this.
No, I'm not saying it's not bad. I'm saying if what you just said is correct and they go to heaven, I would. If I knew I was going to heaven, I would want to get cancer and die because heaven is great. Like, you know what I mean? But I don't believe in heaven, so I don't want to get cancer.
That's fair enough, but I think Jordan Peterson has a very nice point. I'm paraphrasing here. This is verbatim, right? People believe that God originally said, well, if everything is there, then, you know, he must also have created evil, right? Because he's a creator and he's allowed evil. But what if he just allowed the possibility of evil? Now, if you look at cancer, obviously some of it is just genetic, some of it is just there. But there's also a bunch of other shit in the world that isn't caused by God, but it's caused by human greed. Now, you have to look at circumstances surrounding...
But surely...
For instance...
Oh, no, go on.
Like, we always look at Africa, for instance, in a bad light because we see all this bad shit around them. Now, could we realistically, as humanity, fix the problem of Africa? Of course we could. But we choose not to, right? Could we fix homelessness? Yes, we could. If everyone banded together... We don't even need people to band together. We just need billionaires to help us. But they don't. There's problems with humanity, not with God as a result.
Yeah, but you're choosing problems that are within our control. I'm using examples of stuff that's not in our control.
But again...
Because surely if it's not in our control, then it's down to God. So why does he do stuff like that?
But you look at it like God has got a direct link to all of us and he just allows this to happen. Doesn't your science prove that genetics and all of this it just messes up sometimes. It's just a bit
Well,
fraudulent.
yeah, but that's all it is, really, in reality. But what I'm saying,
God for everything. God cannot be the first in the world.
no, but like if he created everything, then he created cancer, didn't he? He created genetics. So why couldn't he make them so that they don't fuck up and give you cancer?
But again, if you have the best life in the world, then what is the point of life in the end? If this is a test. If this is a test, again, you don't want the free pass. Like, obviously, the kids, they get free pass because they have no concept of morality. People below a certain age, if they pass away, they get a free pass because they have no concept of life and what it is and morality and all these different things, right?
Yeah.
But everyone always comes to this argument that it's like, oh, well, if God is so good, then why is there so much bad? And it's like, I mean, like, what do you want? You can't have a free pass. Life cannot be good, right? Because this is a test. Tests are meant to be hard. This is the hardest test of all. Like, the most important test of your life. Why would, like, it doesn't make sense for it to be easy, because if it is easy, then everyone will go to heaven, because there is no feasible reason why you wouldn't. But if there is suffering and pain, and you can see that there's evil and all of this, and yet you still choose to believe in a higher power, and you believe that in his power you can become something greater, and he will give you something greater as a result, isn't that something to strive towards? So either you have the kids and the people with no concept of morality going to heaven, and if you choose to continue with them and believe in God, then you too go to heaven. It's all
but there's testing, and then there's just like evil, unfair shit. It's like, if I'm doing everything I can to get into heaven, like I'm being like the best person I can possibly be and donating to charity and doing whatever, right? And then I get a terminal illness. That's not a test, because I can't get over that. I'm just gonna die. So it's not. How is that a test? That's just like, that's like playing a video game, and then like the developer being like, yeah, go on.
No, just on your point, Miles, about like if you're doing all this good and all of a sudden you get an illness, that could be a sign that God wants you, like God wants to take you. That could be just easy sign.
But why do you have to die in such a horrible way then?
Because consequence and reward. No? So, for instance, in your example, this man has been doing charity, he's been doing all this stuff. He gets a free pass to heaven, then, isn't it? Now, this terminal illness just speeds up the process. Everyone's going to
die. But who wants to do that?
People die by getting beheaded and killed and all of this. Other people die of old age. Now, for people, life is the best thing. But if there's something better than life, then wouldn't you want to rush towards that? It's like with video games, for instance. Like, we were just talking about Horizon earlier, innit? We both like Horizon Zero Dawn. Forbidden West is in a couple of days. If I could get Forbidden West now, I would throw Zero Dawn out the window and take Forbidden West, wouldn't I? That's the free pass. I could get it quicker, innit?
Yeah, but Forbidden West isn't dying of cancer, is it? It's something that you also want.
The analogy is you're speeding up the process, isn't it? Now, if you're say you get the terminal illness, everyone dies at one point anyway. When you die from old age, you're still gonna die. It's not like at the end of life, or just compare. Well, you know, I got stabbed, so I got killed in the worst. Dead. There's a difference. Like, yeah, you'll feel pain, you'll feel suffering, you'll feel everything. You'll have happiness, joy, laughter, pain, all of this different stuff. That's life, right? And if you still choose to believe in God as a result, it shows what type of person you are. You know, you can believe in this higher power. You believe in someone better than you, and as a result, he rewards you. Like, life isn't like you do whatever you want here, and at the end of it, if you're shit, well, I should still give you a free pass to heaven. Nah, man, there's consequences.
So why doesn't everyone just go around being really good and then kill themselves when they can't be bothered anymore? Surely they'll just go to heaven.
Suicide is very bad.
Fair enough.
But second of all, if people were good, then maybe life would be as good as heaven. But it's not. That's human nature, isn't it? Most of us are terrible people. That's why the world is the way it is.
But why do evil people get terminal illness then, if that's just the way to get them into heaven quicker?
Well, it's not. We were just offering to speed up the process. Now, if you're bad, that's up to God to decide. God decides all our fate. It's just we were just using the point that if you did get a terminal illness and you were good, you look on the bright side. You got a free pass.
But not everyone thinks like that, though.
But just to add your point, just to add your point, God only puts as much like hurt or pain or anything as much as a person can take. So it's not overboard. And some people can just take like tragedies happening to them and they can just take it on the chin. While others, they can't do it. It hurts them a lot. So God, there is times where like people have lost a lot of family members, but they come out on TV and say it's just God's plan. Whereas if that happened to anyone else, or it could happen to anybody, they'll be devastated and can't talk for days and weeks. But it just, and also to add on the point with why are we here? You can even say how the Earth is here in the first place. Like, why is there a moon? Why are there planets? Why is there a universe?
No.
Oh no.
Oh no, he's gone. Shit. I was making a good point as well.
Yeah, no, I want to see what he's going to say.
Damn it, man. Why is it?
I think you're back.
No, this thing, what's wrong with it? I knew I'll go off because I was trying to get like speak as soon as I see like it's buffering. Like I see it's buffering, I feel like I should stop. Right now, no one's buffering. I think you can see me.
Yeah.
But like in 2 minutes later, buffer.
Yeah.
It's annoying. What?
Oh, no,
Can I go on again?
Yeah, message us it and we can read it out.
I will read out my best reading.
Am I still here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and actually, adding on to his point, it's not like God gave even the prophets. In Islam, they have 124 prophets. Now, the prophet didn't have a single son. All of them died in either childbirth or they died relatively young. He only had one daughter. His uncle was murdered, and the person that murdered them gave his liver to a woman that ate it in front of him. You know, he was poisoned and he ate the poison because it's a gift, and it's the prophet himself, the embodiment of our religion, one of the best, the greatest person to ever live, had a bunch of tragedies. So if he has a bunch of tragedies and he's the best that we can offer, then who are we really to complain about all of this shit and be like, well, I shouldn't do that? Well, if you want to believe in it, then if this man did it and he's the best that we've all got to offer, then why shouldn't we have pain and misery as a result?
But that's just a way of justifying your pain and misery by writing that down in the book and saying, well, if I had to do it, now you have to do it.
Well, it's not. Well, it's a test to get to a better place, you know?
But why does it have to be?
Because he tried that. He tried that method, and you people said, well, no, we want a chance, or everyone said it. So if we all want a chance as a result, then we have to firm the chance. We were given the opportunity to just go with what God went, and God went, well, you lot are good, you lot are bad. I'm going to send you lot to each of your different things because I know how you're going to turn out. And we went, no, we want to fight that. So if we want to fight that, then firm it. This is our choice. This is what humanity as a result decided. So if we decided this, then there's no reason to be like, well, you know, in the books, I know you said that there's a heaven, but, you know, I don't believe. Well, if you don't believe in it, you don't believe in it, innit? You go life. And when you die, we'll all see the consequences. And I'm not but if there is, there is. If there isn't, there isn't, innit? We'll see. We'll be there together. You know, all of humanity will be there together to be judged by God, supposedly, or we won't be there, and we'll just be in the earth, living life till the sun burns out and humanity finds a different way to live. You know,
like I just want people that have mouths like share mouths viewpoint. They've never answered why everything exists, and they either say, "Oh, it came from an explosion," but there's no science. Science can't even explain how planets came about, how moons came about, how the sky, Earth, everything around you just came about. And you can't just say one explosion and psh, we all here. Like something has to create something for something to. Like the explosion has to be created by somebody. Like who started the explosion? Like how did the explosion come about? It can't just come out of nowhere. Something had to trigger something.
Yeah, but like it can't come out of nowhere, but then if you say someone created it, then that someone has to come out of somewhere. And then whoever created that has to come out of somewhere. So something has to have come from nothing at some point in time. Otherwise, it can't have just been stuff forever. It has to have come from nothing. Like, it's just
But
that's just how it
the
happened,
detail,
isn't it?
Again, where you
It's just how it is. There doesn't need to be an explanation for why planets float in the middle of nothing and there's spheres and there's suns and shit. There doesn't have to be an explanation. It's just how it works. You know what I
then
mean?
why
Like,
does there have to be an explanation for God? That's just how he works.
no, but
but the detail though,
Again, we're applying our own
no, but
understanding of
that's
the situation and the world. We're like, well, this has to have that, and this has to have that. But for God, it's just God is the reason. And
no,
that's
but
all we need. That's the
I'm not
best.
saying there needs to be an explanation for God, but you're using God to explain why things exist. I'm just saying there doesn't need to be an explanation for that.
But why? Because
Like,
again, you're using.
like
If
you're
we can
saying,
use, we've got the argument. God is the reason for everything. He is our safeguard. You know, we can.
Yeah.
Why is it God? Why that God? You know, and he's a being that we can't understand. So as we can't understand it, the best answer for us is just God. You know,
all right.
but if you want a reason for why God exists, then you have to tell us the reason for why everything else is perfectly the way it is, don't you? Isn't that reasonable?
Well, no, but things don't exist perfectly, do they? Because it's like we're the only planet in the known system that can support life. So it's just a coincidence that this one planet right here is perfect. And it's only perfect to you because it can support life, right? So, like, there's like billions of other planets that probably can't support life or, like, definitely can't. I don't know. But,
Again,
you know what I mean? Like,
how sick God is. He created this one planet that we've all lived on, that is the only place in this entire place that can support life, that can support us, that is great for us, really.
yeah.
You know.
All right.
And
Say like we found an alien race, right? And we could communicate with them. No, an alien race is like, and we can communicate with them, right? And then we ask them about God, and they're like, "We have no idea what you're on about, mate." Would you just no longer believe in God then? Because that surely that proves that God is only a creation of Earth and humans. Because
why?
if God was real, then
Yeah.
surely other religions, I
Yeah.
mean, other species would believe in him.
Who's to say they don't? In the
No, I'm not
Quran,
saying they don't. I'm just asking you the question. If that was the case and they wasn't to believe in God, would you still believe in God?
yeah.
Why though? Because surely that definitively proves that there is no God.
Why? Because people don't believe in God.
Because other species don't believe in God. Because God is just a creation of Earth. We only know that. I mean, like, we only know that God is a creation of like humans.
Yeah.
Right. So, like, surely, if he was a thing, other species would know about it. So
Why?
they might do. Like, if we went to another alien race, right, and they believed in God, then I would probably like start to believe in God because I'm like, how the hell did they? That's like such a coincidence that they have also come up with this idea of God. So I would probably believe or start to believe in a God or a creator. So, like, if they don't have like an opinion of God, then surely that proves that there isn't one.
All right. So earlier today when I said the Uncharted movie is shit, right?
Yeah.
And you said, "Have you watched it?" And I said, "No, I don't need to watch it because I know it's shit. I've seen the trailers, I've seen all the people, and I know it's shit." And you went, "Well, you can't do that." And then I showed the picture of all the reviews, right? And you can still come back and say, "Well, you can't use other people to justify your opinion." In the same way,
I didn't say that.
I get what you're saying, but again, I don't need an alien race of people that also believe in God to make me believe in God. I've already got enough reason in the Quran and 124,000 prophets coming to me, well, bro, there's God. And, the just my general understanding of what I believe the world to be. I've got enough reason to believe in God. Now, if these alien people come to me and say, well, we don't believe in God, that's their problem. It's that these
So you would still believe in God?
Essentially. You don't believe in God, and that doesn't impact my belief in God. These
No.
alien people could come to me and say, well, we don't believe in God. Perfectly fine. I can live my
I'm not saying that if that was to happen, you should stop believing in God. I was just asking the question if you would. Like, I was just curious to know. Well, thanks.
Like,
Wait, you can add
I don't need other.
with Aslam's point. I like the point with like with we see the point you repeated with what was it? What you said? Oh, just missed. Sorry. What was it? Aslam, you said? Repeat that last. You were saying something about. Oh, what was he saying? It was
you
about
don't
a
need
movie, something
people
about a
to
movie.
justify
Uncharted
something
yeah.
for you to
Sorry.
believe or whatever.
Yes, that. Like, I don't need another person because, like, the prophets basically went through tragedies of themselves. They went through a difficult part.
Oh no.
It's not like they had life easy for them. It wasn't easy for them. And like there was also disbelievers then too. Everyone, no, fuck off. Am I still here?
I think
Wait, why you guys not? Am I still here?
Huh?
Am I still here?
Yeah, you are, but you like lag in and out.
Yeah, but we didn't really hear it.
Oh, for God's sake. Well, I just want to say that. Huh? I just want
to send MK the T.
Oh, I just want to say that every generation from all the way back in BC, or you want to say BC, or just back in the day with the Prophet era, then they had people.
Okay, I think I know what you're trying to say. I think he's saying that throughout history, there's always been beliefs in God, whether that starts from the beginning,
yeah,
where I think the earliest known religion, like Hinduism, till now, and now we've got a whole bunch more, right? Whether that's Greek gods, Roman gods, Buddhism, you've got gods, they all believe in at least one higher being greater than us, is what he's trying to say. So whether or not some alien people believe it, it's like fair enough if they believe it, then there's bigger proof to it. But if humanity has always had a through line of this exists and this higher being exists, at least in some form, then that's enough proof that this singular belief system has survived long enough from the creation of the earth essentially till now.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because it kind of leads on to what I was gonna say next. Is like you're saying that loads of religions proves that there must be a god or something, right? But I was gonna say that surely the fact that there's more than one religion means that at least one of them is wrong, because how can they all be correct? Like the teachings of Islam and Christianity are different. So I'm not saying either of them are wrong or whatever, but I'm just saying surely you can assume that one of those religions is wrong. So why do you believe in it if you know that one of them might be wrong? You know what I mean?
That's a fair point. I mean, obviously, at the end, within religion as well, you've got separation. Like for Islam, you've got 72 different sects, and each of them say, well, you lot are terrible, and this is why we are right. And it goes back to the same thing, innit? This is all of belief. It's what you believe. Now, I cannot come to you with definitive proof of why God exists. You also can't come to me with definitive proof of why God doesn't exist, right?
No. I can't.
We live in a grey area, and we believe in a higher power that can offer you greatness, and you believe that at the end of it, there's nothing. Then who's got the better ending to all of this? You know what I mean?
Well, but there's but you have a better ending, but that ending is until you get to that ending and know that it's real, it's just a story, really. I don't mean that in a rude way. I just mean it's just something that you've said to yourself or you've read in a book that is a thing that's gonna happen.
That's fair. I don't. This all just boils down to whether or not you can believe in God. I'm not going to come and sit here and say, there is definitive proof for why God exists, because there isn't and there never will be. That's not the point of life to us, right?
Yeah.
The same way you can't definitively prove it to us. But
True.
we believe that there is a higher power, and for that, it's just a belief system. I can't
Yeah.
prove it, but whether or not I can prove it, it doesn't impact my ability to believe. That's all religion is.
Fair enough.
It's just giving meaning to life, where otherwise there would not be meaning, or meaning would be man-made, for instance.
Anyone got any closing comments?
No.
Who started?
I'll see you 1,000 feet under.
I did put a poll up
joking.
in the chat, and 67% of people says God does exist.
That's probably you and Aslam voting.
I can't say though.
Yes or no?
Oh, what?
But 33%.
I voted for no. I'm the only vote for no.
But I just want to close off with Miles was saying about one religion has to be wrong. I completely agree that it is definitely religions that have to be, especially the ones that don't agree with science. Like, so there's no really any correlation with that and science. But Islam has the most like link with science in the whole. Like, I'm not trying to be biased. It sounds like I'm being biased, but I'm not. That is Christianity is probably second in terms of what religion gets closest to science, and Islam and science almost not exactly, but they're almost neck and neck. Of agree, like, in terms of they're intertwined, like they both agree. So because of that logic, you can say that Islam is probably the most logical, like in terms of like, how why there's one book, there's one God, there's one like last prophet. There's just all this beliefs, and Islam's the only one that everybody just it has like everybody just shares the same view almost. There's obviously a different sects, but like Islam's sect is different to my one, but we still share the view that there is one God, there is one Quran, and that Quran was written by one person, which is God. It's not a person, but written by God only, not by like Christianity have like 7. How many people write their stuff? Like 10 people. Like more than 12 people have written the Bible, and it's been altered during the years. And you can't really say the Bible is really reliable compared to the Quran, which is literally from no one else but God. So I kind of agree with when Miles said that one religion has to be wrong. He is right. One religion has to be wrong. I think multiple religions are wrong. That's my personal view, but
that's a fair
Thank
point.
you, everyone. That was I told you lot that the God thing should have been a separate debate altogether. It took up most of the time. If I'm not wrong, when we started this, we were 45 minutes in. We're now an hour and a half in. I said it could have been its own debate. But
shit.
Thank you, everyone.
It's because we agree with the England stuff.
Yeah.
We agree with that.
Thank you, everyone, for watching.
I mean, eventually agree with it. It's random. Only this channel has 3 random topics.
Let's go.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and those who stuck around. We will see you again with a debate next week. We will be back again live tomorrow with This Week in Sport. I have a lot of topics. I will read out the topics now if you'd like me to read them out. Okay.
Yes. So I can get.
I don't think you're gonna like one of them. Well, we got Premier League and Champions League recap because the Champions League is back tonight. Premier League was over the weekend.
Wait, actually, what if we move it to Thursday so that the Champions League, we can get the Champions League stuff out?
Unless we
we'll do it tomorrow.
Friday, maybe.
No, we can stay with tomorrow, and then next week we can do we can do the whole.
Unless we leave more Champions League for next week.
But then there'll be no other games.
There is.
And what's
there's a bit Man United Brighton tonight.
That's a big.
And then predictions at the end of the episode. But then I have specific Premier League topics to talk about. Broya and Southampton. Harry Maguire.
He's awesome.
And then Everton.
He's
I
shit.
want to talk about. Then we move on to Chelsea winning the Club World Cup.
Boring.
Our argument on Sterling, which should be interesting.
War class.
No. I just want to put it out there. I have no feelings on this debate. This will be
Nonsense.
Usman and MK be living
Then
in the back.
We're the biggest player here.
Then we move on to the NBA. We'll talk about the end of the trade window and All-Star coming up. Then I have specific topics. Embiid for MVP, and the Sixers apparently going to move on to D'Antoni. Then I just have in all caps, Knicks.
No, I don't want to talk about
Then
Knicks,
after that,
man.
we'll
Why
touch
not?
on the UFC results from the weekend and then end up on the Super Bowl, which was this weekend. So, thank you everyone for watching. We'll be back again tomorrow. And yeah, we'll be back. Hopefully, I think we'll be back on at 4:30, but maybe 5 o'clock again. We'll see. Yep.
Believe in God,
Thank
people.
you very, very much for
Don't.
watching, and we'll see you again
Free mouth.
very soon. Peace out.
Bye.
My camera freeze.
There you go. Lovely.
Is it over?